Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, call all Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushua, Ba'Hashem Rakah HaKodash. And of course, double honors go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations also go out to the fellow Akim that are out there on the highways and byways. And also post, videos and throughout the various social media sites, to get this word out while time still allows us to do so. All right. Because we already see the push from these JOOs to try to get the laws that are over in Europe, as far as, the Holocaust denial and all that, get that set up over here. Because, hey, let's face it, we know they're watching. And this word is eating them up. They have no other defense but to shut it down. All right. Famine of the word, Amos 8 and 11 and 12. All right, it's coming. But anyway, here is another video. We talk about these jealous and envious, and let's just call it what it is. Bullies. All right. I'm getting this from several, not just this one. And we know how the media likes to play its games. If you're not up on what I'm talking about, this happened down in Texas, where this Jake, apparently, in self-defense, all right, stabbed and killed one of two brothers here that you see, both holding semi-automatic rifles. And the press is playing its usual word games. Well, I'm going to go ahead and roll this. Like I said, I've seen various other videos on this, and they're all saying pretty much the same thing. It's not what they're telling you that's the problem. All right, here we go.
There was this kid, before I know his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Also grabbed his backpack. The kid, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother, and then I'm not going to talk about the rest. Just that's just what I saw.
Why not the rest?
I mean, I tried to help him, but
it was just senseless.
It was really senseless. Really, I don't know why a person would do that to someone just over that little argument. It's just crazy in this world nowadays how people just up and do that. Like that, a man has a family. That man has people that care about them all the time, and he did everything for our family too. He was a strong man. He was a strong kid.
And look, first of all, rest in peace to that young man. But on this channel, we hold racist Caucasian people accountable. His brother just told us the truth. Listen again. Run the tape.
And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Also grabbed his backpack. The kid, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother, and then I'm not going to talk about the rest. That's just what I saw. And I tried to help him, but
it was just senseless.
His twin brother attacked first. Make that make sense. And notice he said, "I'm not going to talk about the rest." Well, guess what, partner? I'm going to talk about the rest, because racist Caucasian people, they always love to attack our people and hide their hands, attack our people and cry wolf. But now on this channel, we let nothing slide. So let's get right into this article so I can show y'all how cold the game really is. And this article is by the New York Post. It was published April 4th, 2025 at 9:36 a.m. The chilling words teen told cops after allegedly stabbing Texas football star Austin Metcalf who died in twin brothers' arms.
Oh.
And notice how they use certain words.
Yeah.
He died in his twin brother's arms. But they won't tell you the truth. But they'll play with your mind. They'll play psychological
emotions.
games with our minds to make us feel sorry. But let's carry on. The teenager accused of fatally stabbing Austin Metcalf and leaving him to die in his twin brother's arms at a high school track meet allegedly admitted to the senseless unaliving, but claimed it was in self-defense. I'm not alleged. I did it, 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony chillingly told police in Frisco, Texas, as he was being arrested at Kirkendall Stadium. The horrific stabbing was sparked when Anthony, who was sitting under another team's pop-up tent as it rained Wednesday morning, was asked by Metcalf to move, and Anthony refused. Anthony then unzipped a bag, reached inside, and told Metcalf, whom he had never met before, "Touch me and see what happens," a witness told police. And look, the brother already told us what happened, but you have to use your common sense. No young black man that's captain of the football team that has a 4.0 is going to randomly attack another young Caucasian man. It's not happening. He didn't do that for no reason. Then I stepped back and said, wait, what's the race demographic in Frisco, Texas? Check this out. 51.2 Caucasian people. 8.6 black people. You might as well say 91.4% Caucasian people, because everyone else, especially in Texas, they already want to be Caucasian. The Hispanics, the Asian, they all want to be Caucasian people. So 8.6 black people, it tells me everything I need to know about Frisco, Texas. He's not going to get a fair trial. Of course his bond going to be set at $1 million because it's only 8.6 black people in Frisco, Texas. And tell me this, why would the article say whom he's never met before? So I said, wait, let me go further down the rabbit hole. So I went over to Facebook and everything started to make sense. Check this out. And shout out to Kevin Hayes. I think he's a track coach in Texas, and he knew Carmelo Anthony. The truth about Carmelo, let's set the record straight. Enough with the misinformation. Let's talk about facts. Number one, it's normal for students from different schools to gather under another school's tent. Carmelo had friends there. He wasn't trespassing or looking for trouble. And if you ran track, you already know. We always go to everybody else's tent. That's common. Number two, the claim that one of the twins had never seen Carmelo before, a blatant lie. Number three, no student has the right to remove another student from a school-owned tent. The school owns the tent, not the twins. Number four, Carmelo is a track athlete. The twins are not. He wasn't expecting to see them there. See, everybody was talking like the twins was running track, and Carmelo did nothing. No.
So in other words, Carmelo belonged there. They didn't.
Oh, he ran track. The twins was just there bullying people. And then he says, now here's what they don't want you to know. The twins didn't just ask him to leave. They tried to jump him. Before attacking him, they tried to take his belongings. They broke his phone and stomped on it. The twins are known bullies. So ask yourself, if two 200-plus pound attackers came at your child, what would you expect them to do? And again, shout out to Kevin Hayes for that information. But you see the games that the media plays on our people. That's the reason why his brother said, I'm not going to tell the rest. Of course you're not going to tell the rest of the story. Because
and this is something that's going on for as long as it's been recorded. All right, the games they play, and the press has always been a big part of it. All right, has been a willing participant in it. This is why we get scriptures like, who we're dealing with, they're never going to change. Why you expect anything else? This is Psalms 58 and 2, and it says, "Yea, in heart ye work wickedness, ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth." And being from the mid-south, right above where this took place, I can tell you that's all these Edomites do from a young age. They go take kung fu and karate and all this other shit. Who they got in mind? Jake. I'm telling you from personal experience. All right, nothing but guns. This is Texas, mind you. All right, but you only saw them at the very beginning of this. Like I said, two military style semi. At least I think they're semi. But knowing them in Texas, them folks, probably not. All right. military style rifles. That's just how things are in the dirty South. All right, especially amongst Edom. All right. Yea, in heart ye work wickedness, ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. All right, the wicked, which they are, the nation of Edom. All right, that's the biblical nationality of your so-called white folk. They're actually red. All right, which what Edom means. All right. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth the ear. All right. Let's go back to, let's see, Psalms 4 and 2. Because, they love, especially when it comes to Jake. It's Psalm 4 and 2. O ye sons of men, how long will ye turn my glory into shame? How long will ye love vanity and seek after leasing? Selah. Leasing means lying. That's all they know how to do. And in fact, when I told you, remember about nothing has changed? Let me see. Whoops. This is a book I recommend if you don't have. Get it. It's called 100 Years of Lynchings by Ralph Ginsberg. Late 60s, around 67, I do believe. No, actually earlier. 62. I stand corrected. And then it wasn't, it was out of print for a while and it came back into print in 88. All right, but let's see. Let me read the foreword here. All right. This is Ginsberg. He said, "What lies at the root of race hatred? After spending several years with the subject, I hold with psychologists that it is unconscious guilt feelings on the part of the race hater. The person who hates Negroes usually hates other people beside Negroes. He's almost a professional hater. If he's poor, he hates the rich. If he's rich, he hates the poor. If he's a Democrat, he hates the Republicans. If he's a Protestant or a Jew, he hates the Catholic. The reason is that the race hater is inwardly a man who hates himself." Now this goes, of course, deeper than what he's saying here. All right. This is spiritual. All right. This is, again, good set against evil at its, base. He finds necessary to shift to others his own unconscious feelings of guilt. And this goes into projection. All right. In psychology, in fact. Let's get it real quick. Projection. Let's see. Psychology. There we go. All right. Projection in psychology is a defense mechanism where individuals unconsciously attribute their own thoughts, feelings, or behaviors to someone else. This process allows them to avoid confronting uncomfortable emotions or traits within themselves by seeing them in others instead. Why do you suppose we have this, how they twisted everything around, and as far as history is concerned, and call it critical race theory? It just told you here, it's a defense mechanism. Oh boy. And this word that we're coming out with, straight out of the Bible. All right. It's causing them further harm because it's the truth. All right. And they have no defense for it. That's why I said earlier, they're going to be forced to shut this all down because it's overwhelming. The evidence, the pure, raw, naked truth, they can't handle it. It's. Now that I say that, let's get this. This is Hosea. Let's see, 5 and 6. I keep doing this. It's 6 and 5. All right. It says Hosea 6 and 5. Therefore have I hewed them by the prophets. That's why the apostles, the elder apostle Tahar on down, have always stressed keeping this spiritual. Therefore have I hewed them by the prophets. I have slain them by the words of my mouth. And thy judgments are as the light that goeth forth. I have slain them by the words of my mouth. The scriptures. And we're tearing down, might as well go to it while I'm thinking about it. We're tearing down all this bullshit, the lies, just by telling the truth. 2 Corinthians 10 and 4, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. Not carnal. All right? Or fleshly. All right? But mighty through the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, and bring into captivity every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach Yahushua. And as it says here, mighty through the Most High. All right, not humanly, but divinely powerful. See, there's ways of fighting. There's an art to it. All right? Just like the book states, there's an art to this. All right? That blessing that Esau, Edom got, that's carnal. Let's go to... let's see, because this is what he likes to do when it comes to Jake, 62 and 4. He says they only consult to cast him down from his excellency. Whenever Jake is celebrated or anything good is said about Jake, this bastard cannot stand it. So he's always in this mode. All right, we got to get something on these motherfuckers. Always cast them in a bad light and try to cast himself in a... But let's continue with this book here, because the point I was trying to make, when you listen, this is the press. This is just a book. That's a collection of newspaper clippings of lynchings, and you can see how things are phrased, all right, to make Jake, to cast him in a bad light. I'm trying to find, let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Like it would say like black brute or something to that effect. Let's see. Lynch, Negro, who testified for another Negro. Let's see. Negro lynched to avenge assault on white woman. February 17th, 1900. Will Burtz, a Negro, 19 years old, was lynched this morning in Aiken County. 3 days ago, he attempted to outrage Mrs. C.L. Weeks and failed. A crowd of 250 tracked the Negro 50 miles across Aiken, Edgefield, and Greenwood counties. He was caught last evening by a farmer who received $100 from the posse. All right. Clothesline was obtained. One end swung over an oak limb and the other fastened to Bert's neck. He was then ordered to climb the tree and get out on the limb. This the Negro did without hesitation. He was then shot from the limb. The rope broke, and as Burtz was not dead, he was again hoisted up and then shot to pieces. Yeah, this is, if you're not, you know, Mm-mm-mm. New York Tribune, March 17, 1901. Negro suspect eludes mob, sister lynched instead. Nashville, Tennessee. Bally Crutchfield, a colored woman, met death at the hands of a mob at Rome about midnight last night. The mob surrounded her home and took her to a bridge over Round Lick Creek, near the town. Her hands were tied behind her, and after being shot through the head, her lifeless body was thrown into the creek. The body was recovered today, and the jury of inquest returned a verdict that she met death at the hands of unknown persons. Wow. The lynching was the result of a suspicion that the negress was in some way connected with the theft of the contents of a pocketbook containing $120. June 20th, 1901, lynched 2 in Louisiana. 2 of the Negroes implicated in the murder of John Gray Foster were lynched by a mob at Benton tonight. One was Frank, commonly known as Prophet Smith, who, at the head of the Church of God movement in that section, was blamed as being responsible for the sentiment against the whites, which led to the death of Foster. The other was F.D. McClan. All right. So far, let's see. Chicago Record Herald, Pierce City mob drives Negroes out, burns homes. August 21st, 1901. With the exception of a few car porters who are known to be respectable, there is not a Negro in this town. For 15 hours, an armed and furious mob coursed through the streets, chasing away every Negro. Hold on. Shalom, I'm back. Yeah, that's the thing, it was never about justice when it came to us. You got to remember, this place ultimately is a place of punishment for us, all right? But things are reversing now. We're at the point where this, as the prophecies dictated, this man has to be exposed first, and this is what's happening now. This is Chicago Record Herald, again, June 24, 1903. Fiery sermon by pastor. Now, listen to this, Wilmington, Delaware. All right, for you people that, the North was, if you got to the, no, this whole country. All right, it says a fiery sermon by a pastor was blamed today for the lynching last night of George White, a Negro accused ravisher and murderer of Miss Helen S. Bishop. The Reverend Robert A. Elwood, pastor of the Olivet Presbyterian Church, preached a sensational sermon on the probable lynching of White last Sunday evening. The text of the sermon was widely distributed, and this was believed today to have had much influence in the lynching of White, which followed. Reverend Elwood took his text from Corinthians 5:13. Therefore put away from among ourselves that wicked person. See how they twist the scriptures to, this is your Christianity, this is your white Christian. All right, in referring to the urgency for a speedy trial for the Negro, Reverend Elwood said, I call your special attention to that part of my text found in the Constitution which says, in all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial. Habeas corpus, right? On the day of this terrible crime, the officials arrested a man supposed to be guilty. He was taken before a magistrate and held without bail. Tonight he is in jail with armed guards parading about for his protection, waiting until the middle of September. Is that speedy? Is that even constitutional? Oh, honorable judges, call the court, establish a president. And the girls of this state, the wives, here we go, the wives of our homes and the mothers of our fireside and our beloved sisters will not be sorry, and neither will you. And honorable judges, if you do not hear and heed these appeals, and that prisoners should be taken out and lynched, then let me say to you with a full realization of the responsibility of my words, even as Nathan said to King David of old, after his soldiers had killed Uriah. The nerve of these motherfuckers. Thou art the man. So I would say to you, the responsibility for lynching would be yours for delaying the execution of the law. And it goes on, but I think I made my point. Yeah, I mean, it's a whole, like, 3 other pages. I don't think you want me to. Yeah, it's like 5 pages total here. But, damn. I think I made my point. So, yeah. The devil, this Edomite, these people, and I'll use that word loosely, or the lowest of the low, the bottom of the barrel, the basest of men, as the scriptures call it. Daniel 4:17, that's who we have ruling over us. That's our punishment. It tells you that in the curses in Deuteronomy 28, verses 48, 49. All right. Let's continue on.
Because you're going to tell on yourself. And then the media is so cold with it. They showed Carmelo Anthony holding the gun, but they never showed the twins holding a gun. And you got to think about it. In Texas, every family has guns. It's like a cell phone. It's common. So for you to judge, for everybody to judge Carmelo Anthony holding that gun, but not to judge those twins holding that gun, make it make sense. But no one's going to judge them right because they have on hunting gear. That means nothing. Keep the same goddamn energy. And then Kevin Hayes said something that was very important. He said these twins are known bullies. So you have to go back to the past. In these mostly Caucasian towns, where there's a lot of Caucasian people and less black people, what do they known for? What are they known for throughout history doing to our people? Let's start with the KKK. They love taking advantage of our people when we buy ourselves.
When they have the numbers,
they don't attack. They have to catch you by themselves because, they are cowards. And see me, I can give you examples. I don't just talk. Number one, we have Robert Brooks, upstate New York. 18 correctional officers handcuffed him and unalived him. Number two, we have Ronald Green from Louisiana. 5 Louisiana troopers handcuffed him and unalived him. Number three, we have Messiah Nantwi, 15 New York, upstate New York correctional officers handcuffed him and unalived him. You even have the twins that was unalived, that was murdered in those Georgia mountains. And a volunteer firefighter took pictures. They arrested him for a few hours and released him. No questions about did he do it or not. No outrage. Where is the same outrage for those twins in Georgia, in those mountains, in that sundown town? Make it make sense. And look, I can go on and on. It's in their blood to attack our people and hide their hands. It's in their blood to attack our people and cry wolf. But not this time. They learned a valuable lesson. Carmelo Anthony just lost his best friend. You don't know what people going through. Don't touch people. Don't lay your hand on people. And for people are saying why he had a knife with him, it's Texas, dog. Either people got guns or they carrying knives. A lot of men, especially in the South, everybody carries pocket knives. We don't know what kind of knife he had. A lot of young men carry knives. It's just, the way of life. If you're from the North or West Coast, you probably don't understand that. But in the South, you either got a gun or you got a knife with you, or you got both. Tell me I'm lying. And look, like I said earlier, it's only 8.6% black people in Frisco, Texas. So, of course, he's not going to get a fair trial. Of course, they're going to set his bond at $1 million. So, I'm going to put in the description, I'm going to put the link to the real GoFundMe account for his parents, because we have to start standing up for our people. We can no longer let the mainstream media get away with lies, get away with misinformation. So to Carmelo Anthony's parents, I'm sorry y'all have to go through this. We will be by your side. Free Carmelo Anthony. I'm out.
So there you go. I'll close it on this. Yep, it's the same old, you know. This is Psalms 5 and 6. Thou shalt destroy them that speak leasing. What is leasing? It's a lie. The Most High Yahweh will abhor the bloody and deceitful man. That's who we're dealing with. The bloody and deceitful man. He's gotten everything by lies, by deceit, by robbery, by murder. This is the whole history of the red man here. This bloody man, this murder. He was a murderer from the beginning. You're looking at a lineage of wickedness. All right, since Genesis, the 3rd chapter. And that spirit came back through Isaac and Rebekah in Genesis 25th chapter, starting at 19, when Esau was born, the brother of Jacob. And his descendants are known as Edom, or the Edomites. Genesis 36th chapter. All right. So there you have it once again. Looks like, press is trying to aid in convicting this guy, this Jake, in the court of opinion before it even goes to trial, as is usually the case. So with that, hey, until the next video, hey, shalom.